Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
I've been running from 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man. Why? Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home.
Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, May 17th. How are you guys doing tonight? Thought I'd pop on tonight real quick and talk about a few things that have been going on in comments made, because we know the news cycle is super big, super fast, and there's a lot going on. But before I head into that, I'm going to remind you guys, if you can please look on the description of my channel here and sign up for Tammy Nation 2, just in case. You never know. Since I don't pay for Rumble, I do upload to Rumble, but I don't pay for it yet. So once yesterday's show and today's show upload to Rumble, I'm going to take them down off of YouTube. I might switch to Rumble eventually, but right now I'm just going to stay the way it is. But if you could subscribe to Tammy Nation 2, it's in there in the description. And also I have Tammy Nation on Facebook. I do go live on Twitter as well. Rumble is an upload. And then after the show's over, I do hook up to True Social. So just in case, you never know, if you want to find me, I do have all the locations where I'm at this point in the description of the channel. So if you guys could do that, I'd appreciate it. Other than that, I hope that your Wednesday was going good. We had some storms move through here again, through Georgia. We've got a brief little quiet in between the storms, so I thought I'd pop on before they revved back up again and stuff, and talk about some things that I saw in the news again today. Elon Musk was on CNBC, and I watched the little interview with him and stuff, and it was very funny because he was questioned about some of the things that he tweets about. And I didn't think it was going to take the media long to go after, Elon Musk, now that he's out there and trying to have a fair platform, and he's speaking out against some things and he's pro some things, he's given his opinion. And he basically said, the interviewer on CNBC was asking him about the things that he posted and tweets about. And he said, aren't you worried about losing sponsors? Aren't you worried about losing money and people saying, I'm not going to buy your Teslas and all that? And he said, you know what? I'm out here. I'm going to say what I want to say. It's a free speech. It's a free country as far as I last checked. Hey, Kim Ellen, good evening. He said, I'm going to keep saying what I'm saying. He goes, I'm going to say my piece. And he goes, if I'm going to lose money over it, I'm going to lose money over it. It is what it is. And I love that about him, because it's true. That's what's happening. We see this along and across the board, that these big corporations and companies are trying to censor who says what and how and why. And it better fit what they have on their agenda, because if it doesn't, then they're going to go against you. We look at all these woke companies, so-called Bud Light and these other companies, Tampax, all that have Dylan as a spokesperson, and they're not doing so well. I think it was $59 million a day Bud Light or something's been losing ever since they had that Dylan campaign running. So, Miller Lite was doing something too recently, I saw. So basically, if they want to buy into the woke environment and stuff, it's going to cost them their bottom line. They think maybe they'll endure in the long run, where in the meantime, Elon Musk just really doesn't care. So the reporter continued on with him about these conspiracy theories that he tweets about, basically. And Musk, I was so happy with that he did this. He responded to him saying there's a lot of these conspiracy theories that have come true. And the reporter or interviewer was saying, like, what? And he said the HB laptop. He goes, that was basically E interference. So the reporter was like, yeah, it was. Hey, Donna Laddie, it's good to see you. I'm glad you caught me live. Basically, Elon Musk said it was on CNBC's Last Call, and he said that suppression of the HB laptop story was E interference. And I know I'm using the letters and stuff. You guys know what we're talking about. It's nothing different that we haven't been talking about a long time. The difference is now you kind of know what those little abbreviations mean. And the difference is we've got Elon Musk out there saying that, you know, the laptop suppression was E interference. And David Faber is the person that was interviewing Elon. And he said, let's talk a bit about your tweets. He said, it comes up a lot, even today, you know, in anticipation to this meeting, that you do some tweets that seem or give support to what we call some conspiracy theories. And he said, but because these are true, he goes, I have to stand by my truth. They're not conspiracy theories. Just because you label them that doesn't mean they are. So, you know, if Faber couldn't discount the HB laptop thing being true. So they kind of settled it with that. And, you know, the whole E interference thing, we're finding out a lot more that so many things and so many levels took place that we kind of assumed or knew we had a little bit of information on, but it is really breaking loose a lot. Every day, there's a lot of people that are speaking out about different things, the gory, dirty details of the things that we were shown versus now they're coming out with the things we weren't shown. And a lot of what we felt and saw and the little bits and pieces that we pieced together as logical thinking humans realized that they are coming true. Another thing that came out, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, was on Gateway Pundit. They released some troubling video footage that has never been shown to anybody. The powers that be won't show it. And it was on the J6 day. Hey, Chris, it's good to see you. Hello. It's violent, it's disturbing, it's disgusting, and it's troubling. You can go to Gateway Pundit and you can check this video out. But however, I'm going to refer to some of the comments for the video that I wrote down, because basically it was the police. They're the ones that started firing at the people in the face. They were throwing flash grenades at the unarmed crowd. And criminal defense attorney Stephen Metcalf, he represents a lot of the J6 people, defendants, including Dominic Pizzola. He's the only Proud Boy that was acquitted of that seditious conspiracy charges. He has scoured through hours and hours of footage that the lawmakers aren't showing us. They're not showing the public. So this defense attorney is the one that came out with this footage. He supplied it to the Gateway Pundit. And like I said, it's very disturbing and very troubling. Basically, these police started open fire on the people below who were just standing there. And basically, they're the only side that was using force that they shouldn't have been using out of nowhere per this video. And obviously, the crowd became upset watching the cops do this. They were saying that they were using rubber bullets, tear gas, flashbangs, sting balls, often aimed at, you know, their heads and stuff. So the footage that was obtained by the Gateway Pundit showcases this atrocity that had happened to these people that weren't even doing anything. And he said, defense attorney Stephen Mitchell said that anyone who wants to get to the bottom of this, of what's going on, must focus on a key moment, and it's the precise time and typical protest and when it escalated. Okay, this is the most investigated supposedly demonstration in the three-letter agency's history, and he said it's crucial because we need to know what everybody's saying and where the starting point is. Okay, he's saying this really actually matters. Nobody's actually pinpointing the precise time that everything went haywire. Basically, he said everybody's saying, hey, there's three-letter agencies in the crowd. There's blah, 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 blah. He said, but I can tell you exactly where all this went haywire and crazy. He said it's the precise time when the protesters that were all standing on the west side terrace, and then those shots started going off in people and they were getting hit in the face and everything else. And he said, yes, there were a couple of agitators you can see in the footage that were in the crowd. He said, but what took it to a whole different level was people being shot with these rubber bullets, and they were getting angry and they were upset, and they were rightfully so upset. So it says, and he says in this video, in this interview, this Stephen does, that after the protesters knocked over the bike rack blockading the building, the moment the government characterizes as the first breach, police were positioned in a riot line. And this is why this is important. And these details of what Steve came out with today on Gateway Pundit said, the riot line protocol instructs officers to remove agitators from the crowd. And instead of removing the agitators, police on the riot line were strategically positioned on the terrace above to shoot the protesters, not remove them, but to shoot them. Hey, Independent Many United, good to see you. Yes, live that day, exactly. The first line of police is called the skirmish line, and he was saying the second line is called a linebacker line. What they're supposed to do is when there's agitators in the crowd, specifically get them out of there. And he said, and they set themselves up from an elevated position. So they had people on the terrace above. So that wasn't to get people out of there. He said they started off with one shooter and then they got a second one out there. And he said there were snipers poised to shoot at them from an incline on the Capitol Terrace as well. So this is what this video being released through Gateway Pundit is today. And this was never shown to us at all. It says a law enforcement official identified by government witnesses during discovery as Inspector Lloyd, wearing a white shirt behind the lines, gave the initial orders to shoot a moderately calm crowd, Metcalf concluded or continued. So basically they were aimed and poised to be violent and to shoot at them with rubber bullets and stuff, not calmly escort them and de-escalate whatever might have been and flared up. They actually flared up the crowd and made the crowd angrier. They didn't ask them to leave. They just started firing off on them. And he said, this is what started all this stuff. Hey, Sharon. Yes, I'm back. I'm trying to get a little more regular here and there, Sharon, but no guarantees. I'm still working out the schedule. It's kind of been flexible, but thanks for coming and stopping by. It's good to see you too. It's been a while indeed. So basically they did that. And then behind the linebacker line is Inspector Lloyd. He's saying this is what Dominic was talking to the Gateway Pundit about. He said there was a guy who signaled. There were a couple of people pushing the line, but ultimately they weren't doing anything crazy. They ultimately stopped their behavior and everything was somewhat chill at that point. And he said Lloyd repositioned himself. He looked up, he does a circular motion and then points in the direction of the crowd, in a particular direction of the crowd, and says, I can show you the hand signals that were done. And they are all standing there on the west side entrance, and the shots start going off into people's faces and stuff. And he said there were 5 or 6 people that got hit, basically. And he said, we've got the video from above, and then we've got audio above. And there was a person recording this. And he said the guy recording next to him said you can hear someone telling the shooters who hit, hey, hit the guy in the red shirt, hit the guy in the green hat, hey, hit the guy in the brown jacket. So they were communicating to each other about who to hit, where to go, and what to do. It was very coordinated. So they said, we've got them saying, hit these people who were just standing there. So I did watch it. It was very disturbing and troubling. Like I said, if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, it just gives you another view of the cloudiness that we've been given. It's a clear view of just a video that lawmakers have not put out there to the public at all. They've kept it from us, but Gateway Pundit did put that out today through the lawyer representative, Steve, like I said. So there is a lot more to this story as well. We know that it's been unfair. We know that these J6 people have faced problems and issues, and they unrightfully and unlawfully so. The majority of them don't belong where they're at, behind bars still. Like the guy said, the lawyer said, there were some people, yes, that did some things, but not everybody. And the behavior of the police department and what they did inflated and inflamed the whole situation instead of trying to calm it down, especially when people were pretty much calm, he said, and were just kind of standing there. I don't know about you, but I would definitely be upset if all of a sudden I was being attacked like that out of nowhere. So I can't wait to see what more comes out of this. I know that a lot of these stories have been around for a long time, and a lot of people say, you know what, nothing ever happens. We keep getting more information, but nothing ever happens. And I'm saying, you know what, I think we just need to be patient. I feel like we're at the top of that hill and we're just ready to peek over the mountain, and stuff is going to start flying out left and right, left and right. I just think that there was a process on all these different levels that had to be followed. And it was a dirty, ugly process. Some people gave up, some people disappeared, some people left, some people flipped from the good side to the bad side. So, you know, it takes a long time to rummage through all this chaos that's been going on in our country for many, many years now. So I just say we have to have a little more patience and keep the faith and all that. So, excuse me, I got a tickle today too. I don't know what's going on. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about is Bill Barr. Rudy Giuliani came out on Bannon's War Room today, and he was saying that Barr is the key person that's in this deep state cover-up from the three-letter agency that begins with the F, as far as the corruption and the Trump probe. And I've got some stuff on this too, man. Rudy was all fired up, and Bannon's all fired up too. Bannon's saying, you know what? We're not quitting. We're not stopping. Everything that all you people were saying was not true has been true. And yes, the Durham report came out, he said, but Durham basically did the report. Giuliani was saying, you know what, a report is a report. Yeah, I'm glad it's done. I felt it should have been done sooner, but way back in the day, this could have been handled and stuff, but Barr did nothing. Barr sat on this. So many people sat on this and didn't do nothing about it. And I'm going to go into the details of why Giuliani was so upset today on Bannon's War Room. He said that basically Barr was on Fox and he was asked about Giuliani and Mr. T. I don't know if you guys remember this. Hey, Death Cloud Jedi, good to see you. That's a new name. Basically, he was saying that Barr was on Fox and he was asked about Rudy and Mr. T selling pardons for $2 million. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but that was a way back. There's just been so much trash and so much crap all over the place that it's hard to remember, like I said, every other detail. So that's why it's good to bring this stuff back up again. But Barr was saying back then that he goes, oh, I'd like to think that Rudy wouldn't do that or Mr. T wouldn't do that. He goes, but I'm not really sure. So back then he was sitting there on the fence. He wasn't saying, you know, I know these people, they're of good character, they're outstanding citizens. I've seen no proof of this. No. He was staying level on the fence, right? Deciding what side should I flap on that's going to suit me best. So basically, Giuliani said that that's one thing, that Barr sitting on the fence is another reason that he's the main person that he feels is behind this. And that Rudy said to Bannon, he said, you know what, I've been investigated on this and investigated for this. They found no evidence against me. He said that Barr is a big jerk. And I thought, well, that's really adult terms. He said he's a big jerk. And he said, those are ridiculous charges. There's no substantiated evidence to support it. I was already investigated for this when, you know, they went through everything I've had, all my papers and everything. And it was a big nothing burger. And he said that Barr was just a big jerk about it. Camperman, it's good to see you too. And Kim, hello. So basically also the 306 page report that came out, there were only 4 items that weren't in it back then that are in it now, that Rudy said that he would definitely have been able to do a RICO case on all of this in April or May of 2020. And he said, the report on the laptop and everything. So he said the summer of 2020 is when it was up to Barr to take action on all this. And that, yes, he definitely should have taken action on it. He had plenty of information, and he was the Attorney General of the U.S. And he said in 2015 and 2016, the SARS reports, Barr had to have known about it, and he did nothing about it. All those reports, it was in 2015 and 2016. And Rudy was saying, you know, I don't understand why no one wants to look at Barr. He says, and something's seriously wrong with him, that he did not do anything about it, and he wanted to keep it confidential. He said he had to be part of it. None of it could have been done without him. So he said that the Durham report, obviously it's a big deal. He said it's one of the pieces that fits into all the stuff that's gone on the last few years. He said, but it's only one of the pieces, basically. And then Rudy came out, and this is what I love about this. These guys have the facts over and over and over and can tell in every detail, where you've got the people who say it's conspiracy theory. That's all they say. It's conspiracy theory. They can never put out the details or the dirty laundry because it's not true. It's all just lies and made up. So Rudy was saying that basically in January of 2020, he gave them the name of a woman who worked for Burisma, and she was ready to tell on all the Burisma offshore banking accounts of Mr. Joe B. And in exchange, all she wanted was to be put in the witness protection program. And she said Rudy gave her info to his U.S. attorney in Pittsburgh, and he was going to act on it. He said he was going to act on it. He said then the next thing you know is 4 weeks later, no one's contacted her. And then he said that he found out that Barr himself excelled it, wanted nothing to do with it. No, I don't think we can trust Barr Camperman. That's what Rudy was saying today, that basically he's the reason that a lot of this got as far as it had, that he had all the information in 2015, 2016. He could have looked at it, done something about it, and he didn't investigate any of it. So he said that it's very simple to interview this lady. He said, you know, I have no idea to this day why they didn't interview her. They still haven't interviewed her. He said they might think that she's lying, but you don't know somebody's lying unless you actually talk to the person and interview them. Then you can find out. Rudy was saying, I have plenty of people that lie to me. He goes, but I pursue an interview, a phone call, whatever it takes. And then you find out if they're lying or not, or if they have a different hidden agenda. Also, he said that the amount of people that they don't interview, he said, and haven't interviewed all this time and still haven't, is mind-boggling. He said, don't forget about Bobulinski. He said he comes out under Barr. He gives incriminating conversations with Joe B. and how money's going to be split up. And then they tell him, this guy, okay, that they're going to get back to him and interview him and find out more what he had to say, because it was incriminating stuff against Mr. B. And he said they never got back with him. To this day, they haven't got back with him. So Rudy said he feels it's clear that they were pushing out the people who could make serious cases, criminal cases at the highest levels of our government. And he said he was doing it. So Barr was doing it. He was involved. And he said, so why isn't he being investigated? Why hasn't he been investigated? And who the heck is he that he hasn't been? He said, basically, you know, Bannon said to him, could you have used RICO to bring up a racketeering charge as far as Joe B is concerned in this? And, you know, Rudy said, yes, I absolutely could have. He goes, I actually did an early draft on all of this. And it was all about the different things that Mr. B was involved in. And he calls it the B crime situation. And he said, I was ready to go with it, but nothing ever came back to me. And he said, you know, I want to make a couple points here. Every time Obama used the term point man, remember how he used to say point man all the time? He said two things happened every time Obama would say point man. He said the first one, America would get screwed big time. And he said the second thing is the B family made millions and millions. And he said, so he goes, without OB, Bummer, he said, none of this could have happened either. He said, don't forget that Joe was made point man for Iraq. He was supposed to negotiate the status of force agreement that would have saved thousands of lives. And he said he failed. And he said, then his next thing you know, his brother was included in a housing contract and got a very large sum of the $1.5 billion in the contract. So, you know, all this doesn't make sense, and it just seems corrupt and crooked and everything else. You know, Steve then asked Rudy, the Durham report, could you have brought the RICO against all these people? And he listed, like, you know, Brennan and all these people. And he said, yes, I absolutely could have. If it would have been allowed, I could have done that. He said, it's like a scene out of Godfather. He said, here's Hillary working on a scheme to take down Trump. And the president is sitting there. He says, not doing anything. He said, it's like the Godfather nodding his head saying, yep, go ahead, get away with it. do what you got to do. And he said, maybe what we need to start working on is a civil RICO case. And he said, with the civil RICO case, you go after their dollars. And so basically he's saying maybe that's what we need to get fired up and worked on now is the dollars, because you just follow the money, you go after their money. And excuse me. And he said, remember, none of this could have happened without Obama. He said he knew about all of this. So when you look through some of the Durham report, I read through some of that. And it was pretty interesting in the fact that it said the plan that Hillary came out with to create the false story against Trump to Russia was actually briefed in August of 2016 and briefed by CIA Director Brennan to President Obama, VP Biden, AG Loretta Lynch, and FBI Director Comey. So the report said the intelligence came from a highly significant intelligence from a trusted foreign source, pointing to a Clinton campaign plan to vilify Trump by tying him to Putin. So to divert attention from her own concerns relating to her use of the private email server. And we all know about the private email server that was burned, bleached, blown up, all that stuff, all the emails, the 33,000 emails. It says that Brennan briefed Obama, Mr. B, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, FBI Director Comey, and other senior officials days after the tip was received. He said there were handwritten notes from Brennan that showed he briefed about the alleged approval by Hillary on July 26, 2016, of a proposal from one of her foreign policy advisors to vilify Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by Russian security services. So basically, this is all the gory details that we talk about that we don't get from the other side when they say we're conspiracy theorists and, oh, you need to get over 2020 and, oh, Trump is just whining. Trump doesn't want to give up and accept everything that's going on. Everything he said is a lie, and all you MAGA people are crazy. Well, here it is in black and white with this report, the gory details of who was where, the time that it happened, and how all of them knew everything was a lie and they moved forward with it anyhow. And this is like a ton of our government officials at every single level. It's ridiculous. It says that the report also said the CIA even sent a formal written referral to Comey, and then Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI's Counterintelligence Division, Stroke, Stroke, for their consideration and action, but they took no steps to investigate the intelligence on Clinton's plan. So they knew about it. They got briefed on it. Information was sent on it, and they still sat on it and did nothing about it. Not a dang thing. It's so crazy. Deathclaw Jedi, yes, to go after their dollars. I like it. So much of the national debt could we eliminate by seizing the Obama family criminal Clinton. Yep. The big guy family assets. Yes. So you've got these people, you've got Barr, who was on TV constantly saying, there's nothing, there's no proof of fraudulent, the E word, there's no proof of that. And, this and that. And he sat there and I thought, oh my gosh, what is this guy? And Rudy is right. Who is he that he's not being investigated to this day? What's the deal with that? It's pretty crazy, and it's just this is like a bad movie. You can't even you can't even write all the details of as an author writing a book or a movie script about all this stuff and all the players involved and how, like I said, the veins and the tentacles just go everywhere on this. I mean, from the different policies that are ignored, the laws that are ignored, the foreign wheelings and dealings that are ignored. If you remember, Mr. B said on video, if you don't fire that SOB, you're not going to get the money. And he goes, and I'll be damned if he didn't fire him and he got the money. And then the guy said, well, I'll call the president, and goes, you go right ahead. So we're all familiar with the things that we've seen and then nothing being done about it. But here it is in gory details through this report and the different things that like Matt Gaetz are putting out Scavino's posting some stuff as well that was pretty entertaining. Actually, Scavino posted it. It was on Facebook, I believe it was, and it was Shifty Schiff. Let's not forget about him. Where's he at? But he did a montage of Schiff over the years talking about, yes, we have accurate information. It's not just hearsay that there was collusion with Trump and Russia and all this. And it goes from 2017, 2018, 2019. The dude never backed down from the lies. The Schiff never backed down from it. So now that this all came out, it'll be interesting to see if Shifty Schiff actually shifts and tries to cut a deal or get on the other side, or if he's going to still stand his ground with all these lies. It was so amazing, because I'm like, every interview he just stood to it year after year after year, just feeding everybody that was listening these lies when he knew they were outright lies. And it's because I believe they didn't think they were going to get caught. They didn't think that people would stand the ground. People wouldn't endure it for all these years. People would just give up. People would get fatigue over it, and they would get away with it. And I'm proud to say I'm happy that we haven't. I'm happy that even though we've had moments of pause, frustration, anger, and moments of giving up for the moment, it's just been a moment. It's been a little blip, because you always win the war. And when you're fatigued and you think, you know what, I can't go anymore. If you don't give up and you just follow through, and that's what I feel that we're at. We're starting to get some forward momentum. I feel it. I just feel it. And it's hopeful and it's optimistic. And like I said, because it is going across all media now, for the most part, it's getting more exposure with this Durham report, and with these people being able to talk about the gory details, being on Newsmax, Gateway Pundit. All these different stories are breaking on all these different social medias. It's not like all this information is just sequestered to one little part or one little avenue. It's all across the board. You can Google stuff, or you can search stuff, and it's going to pop up. And to me, that's very, very refreshing. And to continue with this, the handwritten notes from Brennan that showed he briefed about the alleged approval by Hillary was on July 26, 2016. It was a proposal from one of her foreign policy advisors to vilify Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by Russian security services. So Brennan briefed them on August 3rd, 2016 in the White House Situation Room. That's what the report said. So they were in the White House doing this. The meeting that was to brief relevant intelligence known to date on Russian interference. The report said this three-letter agency that begins with the C even sent a formal written referral to Comey and then Deputy Assistant Director Stroke for their consideration and action. But once again, I remind you, they took no steps, 0 steps to investigate any of this as far as Clinton's plan. It says the revelation suggests that although Obama and Mr. B knew that the origins of the Trump campaign Russian collusion allegations was part of a plan by Clinton, they said nothing, they did nothing, and they even perpetrated the idea that the Russians were interfering in the U.S. elections. Do you remember them saying Russia, 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 and they're interfering, and we have to watch out for that? And hey, Harvest Mary Moon, it's good to see you. Stay the course. We know the light will always conquer the dark. Amen to that, Donna. And finally, on July 25th, 2019, after Mr. B had begun his presidential campaign, he tweeted, and this is why it's important to have it on paper or have it documented. On July 25th, 2019, Mr. B tweeted, Russia undermined our democracy by interfering in the 2016 election. That's a fact. We need a president who will stand up to the Kremlin, push back against Putin, and take immediate steps to ensure the security of our elections. That just makes me want to throw up. So he knew all this, and then he tweets that out. And don't forget about dear Nancy Pelosi, out there saying that we have him, we have facts. So all these leaders and representatives and these people in power said they have documented proof of all this, all these years of this, all the tweaking of people that maybe were on the fence with Mr. T or wanting to believe it. think of how many warped minds are out there, and the fact of them feeding all this information, them buying into it. And now what is our job? I feel our job is to get out there to those people and not rub it in and say, I told you so, but show them the proof. Say, look at this. What do you have to say about this? Are you going to stop watching these talking heads now that for years have been pushing it down your throat that Mr. T was involved in things that were totally made up? Does it maybe make them have pause on believing any of these people anymore? How many liars have come out now just with this report and what has happened over the years? And, you know, some people got fired, some people this and that. You know, Trump said the best thing he ever did was fire Comey. But the thing is, of course, we want justice. Of course, we want it fixed. But, you know, the scary thing is, and the thing that gives me pause is we have to endure, because it's going to be a long haul to be able to take these people out, vote them out, whatever we need to do to get the crooked and corrupt out. Because remember, even the people that get in and that have a good, honest heart and want to do the right thing, sell out or get bought out, or and if they can't do it, then they try to take them out, just like Mr. T. Mr. T had all the money in the world. Hey, Benjamin, you know, and he's endured all of this for what? And I believe, you know, like him or not, if you're fatigued with Mr. T or not, the thing is, the man has endured this. He stood by this. He could have turned his back and walked away on us in this country at any time. But as you look back to the things that he said and did, everything so far has come true. You look at what he warned us about with inflation, the pipelines, the gas prices, the border, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, you have this Biden administration who the secretary can't even speak properly and won't answer questions when they ask him about Mr. B. You have Mr. B standing at podiums and reporters try to ask him questions and get information from him, and he turns around and he walks away. 9 times out of 10, you guys, he walks the wrong way and has to be rerouted to the right way. You know, this leadership in this country is just crazy. Benjamin, that's weird that you just got the notification. Yeah, sometimes it goes that way where people don't get them, or they get them late or whatever. I don't hold it against you. I totally understand. I'm just glad that you came over. But the thing is, you guys, like I said, we just have to go ahead and, you know, keep fighting the good fight. I keep saying that over and over, fight the good fight, because, you know, good does conquer over evil. And, you know, I don't know about you, but for me, I can't wait to see justice happen. These people have had every chance to right their wrongs, to come clean, to do, you know, switch from bad to good, and they chose not to do it. They just keep getting embedded further and further and deeper into their lies. And you have to ask yourself, what the heck happens to people that they can do this and they can hang on to this for so many years? I swear, it's no wonder that Nancy is a drinker, because you cannot have a clear conscience, and you cannot feel the burden on your back of all the lies and stuff that you carry, because you never know if somebody, when you're dealing in the dark side, you never know who's going to flip on you. You never know if there's somebody that's going to take you out. You never know. Once you become useless, they're not going to have anything to do with you anymore. And then what do you have left? You've betrayed yourself, your family, your country, your people that you're supposed to represent. And Lord knows how many of them have sold their souls. So it's pretty just being corrupt, just to me, it just never makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't want to live a life where I have to watch my back all the time. I have to try to remember the lies that I've told. I don't want to have to deal looking eye to eye to somebody that I can't stand and that I know I've lied to and I've done bad things to, and act like we're the best of friends. It's like, I can't do it. I wouldn't do it. So these people don't age very well. A lot of them do, I think, have addictions or mental problems, because you would have to go crazy eventually trying to keep all of that straight. So, like I said, a lot of the old videos that we've seen and that have gone away are coming back. A lot of the social media people are bringing them back to remind us of the different things that these people have said, like Pelosi, like Shift, etc. And I think it's a good time to be able to bring these videos, to save them phones, whatever, to the people that maybe thought we were conspiracy theorists, that thought, you know what, you're crazy, and say, what do you think about this now? Look at what came out. Look at what they said back then. They've been feeding you nothing but a bunch of lies. They are the same people. The same people. Hey, Kaiser, it's good to see you. Benjamin is serving coffee, donuts, and cookies again. Thank you, Benjamin. He likes to do that into the chat, and that's just fine with me. But what I was going to say is these people have been doing this on, and you're right. I don't know how they sleep at night. You can't sleep very well at night. That's probably why a lot of them do have mental breakdowns. And, you know, you're like Bar, you either go quiet and you stay very mellow because you're camouflaged with all the chaos behind you, or you're like Schiff where you go off, or Pelosi where you can't, you're stumbling around in the Capitol and stuff. I mean, it's terrible. It's just, it makes me laugh because it's so sad. It makes me laugh. You look at people that are trying to make good points out there and try to have good sentences and good conversation about what's really going on out there, like the Matt Gaetzes of the world. He's a little fireball. He's a young guy. What a fireball he is. You look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. They know their stuff, and it doesn't matter what side you're on. If the other side has somebody that sticks out there and is a fireball like Marjorie or Matt, bring them forth. But the problem is they're all the AOC people, and they're the people that don't have facts and details. They're the name callers. They're the ones that throw hissy fits or stage scenes like oh my gosh, like they did at the border. Was it Kamala that did that? And AOC did that in her white little jumpsuit. Cortez did that, staged the little thing. People can tell if you're fake or not. People can tell. People can see through your masks eventually, even not if at first they will see through it. You look at the excitement that Mr. T and like Scavino and Bongino and all these people, Bannon, and how their heart and their fire and they're passionate. And what is it that their fire and their heart is and they're passionate about? It's this country saving it. It's about we the people having and keeping our freedom, our rights, our gun rights, our freedom of speech, et cetera, et cetera. Then you've got the people over there on that other side, and they're more worried about the people who are trans, the people who want to be we, they, thy, I, thee, them, whatever the pronouns are. They're pushing that kind of agenda forward. They're coming after the kids and all that kind of stuff. And you look at when you try to balance this out, and as a logical person, like I said, it doesn't matter what side you're on. If you're on the side that is pro everything that this country has been about, that's where we unify, and that's where we can come to agreement on. But if you're believing in all this over there, they're spewing out with this trans and all this other stuff, saying men are women and can have periods. There's something to me that's a mental thing. I'm going to come out and say it because you know what? When God made man, he made a man and a woman. In the Bible, nowhere does it talk about anything else. It doesn't talk about the furries of the world, the people that are furries, because I saw something today on Twitter, and it was from the UK, I think. And I guess there's one high school that actually has the litter box. And there was a debate going on about this. Is this true or not? And the person was like, I don't have video proof of it, but I'll try to get it, about a litter box in a high school, because there's some people there that consider themselves cats because they're the furries. And then he said that his friend's son or daughter got kicked out of the school because one of the cats got upset with him and she scratched him. And when he complained about it, they said, well, that's what cats do. Now, like I said, there was a lot of conversation in the chain of the talk of the Twitter feed. And some people like, we need proof of this. We can't believe this. This doesn't seem real. And my thing is, whether it's real or not, and I've heard this fly around a lot. I haven't seen the actual pictures of litter boxes or anything. But the thing is, we know that the furry thing is real. We've seen that around for years. But it's just a whole new level of conversation. When you look at the world and the kind of conversations people are having, it's just, to me, insane. It is totally insane to me. How can you have an adult conversation justifying a cat litter box in a high school room? Like, it just doesn't make it's nonsensical. It is just so ghastly ridiculous that whether it's true or not, this is the kind of conversation that is going out there that are corrupting them, even if it's true or not. When you see these different cat scratch fever, Benjamin, that's funny. When you see people out there, I saw another thing today, and it was in the UK as well, and it was video footage of these kids. It was a drag queen show, and I actually saved it because I wanted to check into it more, where the kids are actually at the end of the stage. Okay, the drag queens are on top of the stage dancing and doing their thing, and these kids, which are like 7 to 10, I think they were, our hands are on the stage, their booties are facing the audience, and they're twerking. So the drag queens on top of the stage were showing the kids down there how to twerk, and the parents and the people in the audience were rooting and phoning it, showing video of it, taking video of it, celebrating this. And remember, the drag queen people were saying, hey, don't put us in with the trans people because we don't do that. Okay, we're not going to blanket it and say every drag queen or every trans. The thing is, anybody, I don't care if you're straight, anybody who goes after children, harms children, tries to influence children is a problem. I don't care if you're heterosexual. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're furry. I don't care what you are. To instigate children and be impressionable on children that twerking is acceptable at that young of age is disgusting. It's terrible and it's wrong. And I saw also video in Target. Apparently Target is also with their school clothes and the young kids section. They have all these rainbow colors, and they have books, because the rainbow, the pride thing, they have these books, and it talks about being gay, it talks about trans and all this. They in children's section, I saw the video footage of it, and I've seen 2 videos of it, and all the different sayings on shirts that gay is okay and all that. Listen, what you do is your business. And we've said this many, many times. The normal, I don't even want to see heterosexual people, pictures of them on shirts and stuff, or different sayings heterosexual people use that are geared towards kids. It's anything that is, yes, lone wolf, exactly, buy all of it and burn it. Anything that is geared towards kids, straight, gay, anything sexualization, anything that talks about male, female becoming female and female becoming male is 100% wrong. 100% wrong. We're doing damage to these kids. They're going to grow up. I don't even know how they're going to grow up, because you look at, I'd say, the 25-year-olds down to the newborns. That is the gap that I think is in dire threat of being troubled and having mental issues coming up and seeing. And we don't have any idea. We can only imagine the kind of damage that is being done to these people. What? American Girl dolls gone woke too with books. Dolls will be next. Kim, are you serious? Do you know what? Now that you reminded me, I just saw a picture of a doll. And when it said, what's this about? And it was like a little doll. It was a female doll, but they lifted up the skirt, and it had a guy's body part down there. So yes. That's disgusting. And there is not one person out there, I don't care if you're a parent, a grandparent, I don't care if you're conservative, I don't care if you're liberal, I don't care what you are. If you are saying that it's okay to influence a child, whether it's by a book that they read, whether it's by a visual they see, whether it's by the clothing that you make, that they put on their backs, whether it's art in the sake of art, by a painting, a picture, a drawing, and you think it's okay to objectify them that way, something's seriously wrong with you. Something's seriously wrong. These kids, even at 18, we consider them adults, but they still, a lot of their brains aren't fully developed even at 18. But, in the world, 18 is the age to do it. I mean, like I said before, many times, it really ticks me off when it comes to these kids, because it is an outrage to me, because they can't just grow up being boys or girls. I told you about my future daughter-in-law who was studying to be a teacher, and they were saying, you can't let boys over here be with boys and girls be with girls. They have to intermix. And the boys are going to play with the dolls, and the girls are going to play with the cars, and you have to intermix everybody. Don't let boys be boys and girls be girls. You can't do that. You also have to be specific about blue is not for boys and pink is not just for girls, that anybody can be in any of that color. And what has happened that I've seen a lot on the internet as well, and these different celebrities even leading the way, leading the charge, using their own children, that if a boy decides he wants to put on a dress, his sister's dress or like his mom's dress, and play dress up for a day, all of a sudden they're like, oh, he's okay, bye Kim, have a good night. He all of a sudden he wants to become a girl. That's just absolutely ridiculous to me. So I remember growing up, boys did that sometimes, but then it was a one little thing on and over with. I remember playing trucks as a girl. An army man with my brothers. Does that mean I wanted to become a guy? No, it does not. You're welcome, Kim. Take care. Seriously, it just what happened to us as intelligent human beings that we have done this to the children. Hey, Lily J, long time no see, Missy. It's good to see you. What has happened to us that we're allowing this to happen to our kids? And, I don't know any parents per se in my area that this is happening with their children too, but there's enough on the internet out there, and it's not just in the UK and other places. Over and over, you see the pictures of these kids who have had surgeries, and their chest, the girl's chest, the breasts were removed, and there's scar marks across the chest, and you've got the child posing there with the parent and the proud doctor who did this gender assignment surgery on this child, and they're happy about it and proud of it. And it just is, it's so disgusting to me. It's like, it doesn't seem real. To me, it doesn't seem real, because I don't understand, when you're a parent, you love your child like it's indescribable. Some of us waited a long time to have children. Some of us aren't able to have children. So then when we see parents behave that way towards their children, it is so confusing to me. What is happening in your brain that you think that at that age they should change who they are biologically? Because it's a mental thing. It's just because they feel that way, doesn't mean they are. Just like I said, I can say I'm a tree, I can say I'm a Hershey bar, I can say this or that. Just because I think it in my head doesn't mean you have to tell me I am. And how many times have we seen fingers wagged at us that you need to call me a certain thing, because if you don't, then you see on the internet these people have meltdowns because they were called the wrong pronouns. It's thanks, Lily J, for stopping by. Kim says, I can't afford knee replacement with insurance. How can they write off gender reassignment? Exactly. And remember, for a while back, there was legislation that was going in that were saying that certain states were going to be safe states and safe cities, that these underage children were going to be able to go to these places, safe places, and have the surgeries done even without their parents' knowledge or information. Like I said, as adults, if a man touches a woman or a woman touches a man, and it's domestic violence type thing, we can get in trouble for that. We're supposedly adults and we're supposed to know better, yet we're allowing this to happen. Our children's being escorted to other states out of our control, out of our sight, out of our approval, with strangers. Who's to guarantee who these strangers are? Anyhow, how do we know even who these people are and where they're taking our children? We see on the internet over time how many people are out there that use the internet to go after younger children, that portray themselves as 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and then they want to meet up with them. And there's sting operations that they have to nail these people, these predators. So don't you think this is just a big opening for them to be able to just get more kids? Because they can say they are a doctor going to help them. They can say that they're the transportation that the hospital or whoever it is sent to pick them up and take them to get these surgeries. But I don't buy it. There's no way. There's no way this is on the up and up. Anybody, and the thing is, don't these doctors and these people who are participating in this, trying to pass this legislation, I mean, don't they have kids? Don't their parents, even if they're adults, their parents say, what are you doing? How are you taking part in this? Why would you enable something like this? The only thing I can think of is they don't have souls, and it's all about the money. Because it's like everything about the money. People, it's incredible over time, and it's never changed how corrupt people are and will become over money, popularity, and influence and power. People don't learn from the past mistakes that people who tried to garner power in the wrong way and use it in the wrong way, how they always pay a price. It doesn't usually turn out well. And why people think that they're going to outskirt and outsmart the system, or they're going to get away with it, is I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Tammy, you think the beginning of gay people getting married started this? I think that this has been in the works for a long time, that there was just a lot of programming that we didn't, well, I didn't, I'm going to say I didn't pay attention to. You start looking at the TV shows and how they changed. How do you go from Little House on the Prairie and the Brady Bunch, Gilligan's Island, to all of a sudden you have things with like Will and Grace. I used to love Will and Grace, but then you look at what Will and Grace is and the things they started talking about. I mean, the one guy was gay, and then the other girl, I forget what her name was an alcoholic. All she wanted to do was drink all the time. But at the time, we thought it was funny. Like I said, to me, it seemed like I started off innocently like that, and then everything was like a progression, just like movies. It all just becomes like this progression, and it's very sad to me. Lone wolf, yes, it's so immoral, it doesn't make logical sense. And that's what it is, you guys. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not even trying to understand it. I don't understand it. I don't want it. I'm not going to even try to accept it. There's right and there's wrong. It's that simple. And when it's about our children, there's right and wrong, especially because they're young. God gave us children as a gift. They're a gift. They are innocent. They are precious. They're impressionable. So we as adults and in humanity, if we aren't able to take care of them properly, that's so shameful. I don't care if we can fly rockets to the moon. I don't care if we can have battery powered everything. If we can't take care of our children and protect our children decently, I just think the morality of the country is in the world is sunk into a low. And I think a lot of people now are fighting back. People that really didn't realize it. I saw the progression of it back a while ago when it was in the music industry, from being from radio back in the day. I saw the decline in the quality of verbiage and words used. I saw how the dress of these artists were changed, how an artist would be kind of heavy, and then they all of a sudden lost all this weight, and they had these surgeries where they don't look like themselves. I mean, if you want to improve yourself, that's one thing. But when it comes sexualized, like the Miley Cyruses, the Britney Spears, look at what happened to Britney. She had the breakdown and stuff, and the parents and all that she went through for years, the poor girl, from a Disney princess, a Disney girl, to look what happened to her. The amount of pressure that is on them and applied to them. And then when your parents don't back you up or support you in the right way because they get used to the money or they want control, it's just a demoralization of morals and values. And that's exactly what it is. And you're right, Kaiser, it's not a decision children should be making at all. It's not a decision that the adults should be making other than to say no. I mean, we tell our kids what they should eat. We make them dinner. How many of us have said, if your parents have said, if you don't eat this for dinner, you're going to starve, which you never did. I mean, yeah, you don't like the green beans and the pork chops, but then you'd stifle a couple bites down and you never really did starve, but you didn't complain about it. So if we're telling our kids at the bedtime they need to go and the different kinds of studying they got to do, and you can't be on the computer too long, yet we're going to allow them on the other side, the men, to become women and to dress as women and wear makeup, and we're going to let them have these gender changing surgeries, which like I said, you guys, we don't have any idea what damage that's doing to them as they grow into adulthood. If you look at some of these so-called celebrities out there that have had sex change operations, like the one guy that I've talked about him before, I forget what his name anyhow, he became like a Ken doll. He had ribs removed. He had pecs put in, different muscle parts put in. He spent tons of money on surgeries to look like a Ken doll. He used to wear really tight pants and shoes. Well, all of a sudden, after all these years and time and money spent, he decides he doesn't want to be a guy anymore. He wants to become a girl. So all of a sudden, all these surgeries and money spent, he became a girl, and now he's got a big chest, and he wears clothes, he's got makeup done up, and all these surgeons just keep doing all the surgeries on him. And I think, that's a shame too. Here I am, age 66. As a child, we played superheroes, but we knew it wasn't real, that it was pretending. Yeah. Be careful what you pretend to play with now, Donna, right? Because people take it for face value of that's what it is, it's being thrust in our faces because they know what they can get away with it for now. Right, Kaiser? Yeah, for now. But we are all waking up to what's really going on. We're waking up to what is happening in the schools and everything. We talk about it many times. And, money is the root of all evil. That's right, Harvest Mary Moon. I will say, money does make things easier in life. Pay bills, get a car, etc. Money, it's how you use it though. And if you look at examples of a lot of billionaires and stuff that we see, it's not very good though, is it? The different things they get involved in, like the Bill Gates of the world. Wake up faster, please. Amen to that. And people say, well, they're doing great things with in the foreign countries where they do all these, I want to say the V word, but I can't really say it. Anyhow, it's just crazy to me how these billionaires, and it is their money, they can do what they want with their money, but the thing is, they don't do what you would say the godly or the moral thing a lot of times by helping with facilities for the homeless, like taking care of the veterans, like trying to have some kind of programs for the police or emergency forces, the military, something, because I've always said the military doesn't make enough money. The veterans don't get taken care of. The police and emergency services people should make way more money than they do. All these artists and singers who have people that write for them and people that produce their music and they get on stage and sing, they make millions and billions of dollars. Yet our heroes, the ones that save our lives of our loved ones, our families, our parents, our grandparents, ourselves at times when we have accidents, barely make anything. Some of them make decent money, but what I'm saying is it's nothing in compared to what the so-called celebrities or famous people do. And I would just like to see that scale tipped back a little more. When you've got these actors that make billions of dollars, it's incredible. I understand that when a movie brings in tons of money, the actors should get a decent part of it. It shouldn't be all just, to the directors and stuff like that. But, it just seems so unfair. The teachers of the world, they've got a bad rap. And I know they get some summer off and stuff like that, but they're educating our children, so they should make more money. It's just kind of flip-flopped around. You when you want to become a doctor, you have to go into such great debt to become a doctor, and yet they're the ones that save our lives. They're the ones that mend our broken bones. They shouldn't have to go that far in debt just to be a doctor. So it just kind of gets upsetting. They really aren't happy. I'd rather be broke like I am right now. You know what, Harvest Mary Moon, I always say, even if you're financially broke, if you're full of love and you're full of good heart and honesty, that's where the riches are. We have our riches put away for us in heaven, right? That's where they're stored for us, because everything here on earth we know can fall apart. And the scripture says moths eat it, it gets taken away, and it means nothing. When we pass away, we can't take anything with us but our experiences and who we are as people. So I just think that it's important to keep that in mind. And like I said, we don't have to hate money, but we just can't love it either. Benjamin said, you were unsubbed. Oh no, that's terrible. You know what? I've seen my sub count go up and then all of a sudden it goes down and then it goes up and then it goes down. And then some of the shorts I do, it's like I'll put them out at the same time and one will have 1,000 views and the other has 14. So as long as you guys can find me, that's all I care about. The numbers don't really matter to me. If you guys find me, that's all I care about. Like I said at the beginning of my show too, you guys, once this gets uploaded to Rumble, I'm going to take this down off of YouTube, and the same from the one last night. So if you haven't already, subscribe if you can to Tammy Nation 2. And I have Tammy Nation on Facebook. I don't even promote the Facebook very much. And to tell you the truth, I haven't promoted any of my channel to family or friends or anything. You guys know about it, but I just wanted this to grow on its own and people to find me on their own per se. So I didn't go out and promote it to even friends or family. I've got like 2 friends that know about it and that's it, because I just, and I want to see for myself. I want to see really if YouTube messes with the numbers and stuff like that. They probably do. But like I said, I do have Tammy Nation 2. I do have Twitter. I do have Truth Social, and I do have Facebook and Rumble. Right now, basically, it's all in my description. So if you want to sub to Tammy Nation 2, just in case, that's awesome. Otherwise, I guess I just post to my Facebook that I'm on Tammy Nation 2 should something happen to my channel. But I'm praying to God it doesn't. I'm not that big, and that's okay. They probably don't pay much attention to me, and that's absolutely fine with me. I'd rather have a good conversation with a few good people than have thousands of people that are in there just causing chaos and stuff. Some of you I remember for a couple years now, and it's good to see some of you that I haven't seen in a while. And there's some new people that were in here too, which is pretty cool. So I appreciate it. That's all I've got for tonight, you guys. So thanks for stopping by again. And it was a pleasure talking to each and every one of you. And Benjamin, thank you for serving up the treats like you always do. I guess that's going to be your job now when you come in my chat, to serve up some beverage, some coffee and donuts and stuff like that. So that's what's going to happen. I have to work tomorrow, you guys. So I will probably be back Friday morning with a devotion. I'm not sure which time. You can see my devotion. It's back here. I already have it set up. I just didn't get to it today, but it is set up, ready to go. So I will probably do that Friday morning sometime, you guys. I can't get enough of sane, logical people with strong morals and good common sense. You know what, Lone Wolf? Me either. I mean, you would think that wouldn't be it's your drug of choice. You wouldn't think it would be that difficult these days, right? And but it is. So with that, I'm going to say good night, you guys. I will probably see you and talk to you sometime Friday morning for sure with a devotion. Once again, thank you so much. Keep your chin up, you guys. We got this. We're going to be all right. Remember, God wins. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.